sometimes do with workplaces and organizations, because the types of emotions that sometimes are in the undercurrent of organizational decisions are the types of emotions that should be with our intimate friends, family members, partners, or our intimacy with our own self and our decision making with ourself. Okay, so in the workplace or an organization, we want to kind of stay above the waters of some of this more volatile and tender, vulnerable emotion. There's a goal. The organization has a goal. The HOA has a goal to have rules and procedures and standards that keep everyone feeling safe and happy to purchase and own condos here, plus whatever else this particular HOA has listed as their goals. So one of the ways we help in meeting facilitation is keep your eye on the goal. We get lost in the conflict, which often has an undercurrent of emotions that don't even belong in these types of relationships, organizational workplace relationships. So keep your eye on the goal. Let's return to understand our shared goal as an HOA. And when somebody comes asking for the rules to change, even if they have their interest in mind, would that rule change serve, support, or fortify the overall goals of the HOA? Or at the very least, would that rule change not detract from the overall goals of the HOA? And we find, what I answering to this small HOA group is, I will probably find, should I work with you, that there are undercurrents of emotions that are deep, intimate, vulnerable, sensitive emotions that actually don't belong here. Now, how do we get rid of them? We don't say, oh, that's your old childhood wound, be quiet. Okay, I don't and you don't to each other if you want to be productive. The first thing is to hear. And sometimes it takes a little more time. People need to be heard. Coming back to that theme of our broadcast today, people need to be heard. So once we hear, how are you feeling about this? What is coming up for you? It looks like you're very vulnerable here. So what is that feeling? I want you to tell, like I would say this as a facilitator, I want you to share that in this meeting, not for the purpose of us all analyzing your feelings or debating about feelings or getting lost in feelings, but we invite you to share with us what is the vulnerable stuff underneath this, so that as a collaborated activity, as a collaboration, we can keep our eye on the goal and take this request for a rule change and look at it in a more on the surface way. What's the positives? What do we think would happen positively? What could be a negative? What's the size of that positive? What's the size of that negative? How much prediction capacity do we have on these issues? And then make a decision that means we have considered all parties. And this is ultimately where I recently getting calls from many HOAs, in fact, it seems to break down because people aren't being heard. And people have strong feelings about whatever their rule change is, or a protocol adjustment, or a new protocol. First of all, they need the time and the attention to be heard. And in that attention, what we facilitate is some ground rules where when one person is sharing their feeling or perspective on